Welcome to Bloxified, the only place where your Roblox knowledge determines your social status. This is Blox Quiz, the ultimate test for true OG players. Today, we're finding out if you actually remember the golden age of Roblox, or if you just pretend to be an OG. And before we start, do not put the answers in the comments. If you do, you'll be permanently trapped in a Brookhaven roleplay server where nobody ever breaks character. You've been warned. Let's begin. 1. Which of these classic Roblox games was a massive tycoon hit in the early days? A. Retail Tycoon, because nothing screams fun like stocking virtual shelves. B. Work at a pizza place, the game that made 90% of us question if we'd rather be unemployed. C. Lumber Tycoon, the only game where carrying a tree across the map felt like an Olympic sport. D. Theme Park Tycoon, where dreams of a 5-star park die because your guests refuse to walk 10 feet. 2. What was one of the first ever horror games to blow up on Roblox? A. Dead Silence, for people who love jump scares and regret. B. Bear Alpha, because nothing is more terrifying than a bear that sprints at you with no explanation. C. Stop It Slender, the game that single-handedly made players fear static screens. D. The Mirror, a game that forces you to stare at yourself, making it the scariest of them all. 3. Which of these games was a go-to hangout spot in early Roblox? A. Meep City, the game that taught us how chaotic chat rooms can truly be. B. The Plaza, for players who wanted to do absolutely nothing but in style. C. Welcome to the town of Robloxia, back when roleplay meant breaking into people's houses. D. Natural Disaster Survival, where bonding meant watching your friends get flung into oblivion. 4. What was a popular sword fighting game in classic Roblox? A. Sword Fights on the Heights, the game that taught us falling off a map is a valid battle strategy. B. Murder Mystery 2, because who doesn't love accusing random players with zero evidence? C. Legendary Swords RPG, where every sword looked like it belonged in a fantasy anime. D. Catalog Heaven, aka Flex Your Robux, what the game. 5. What was one of the earliest obby games to go viral? A. Escape the iPhone obby, because even in Roblox, Apple products trap you. B. Mega Fun obby, lies. Nothing about this was fun after stage 500. C. The really easy obby, spoiler, it wasn't. D. Tower of Hell, because why die once when you can die 50 times in a row? Quick break. Smash that like button right now, or get stuck in an Adopt Me trading server where everyone only offers sandwich pets. Your call. Nash 6. Which game was a pioneer for FPS games in early Roblox? A. Doomspire Brick Battle, the true test of friendship and explosives. B. Mad Paintball, where you could eliminate someone with the power of Crayola. C. Phantom Forces, aka Call of Duty Roblox Edition. D. Base Wars, the game where you learn the hard way that snipers exist. 7. What was the most popular disaster survival game back in the day? A. Natural Disaster Survival, where a tsunami and a tornado always team up against you. B. Survive the Disasters. If you love dodging meteors and giant noobs, this was for you. C. Apocalypse Rising, because nothing says fun like running from zombies and starving. D. Survive the Killers in Area 51, the only game where you could be chased by Shrek and Jason at the same time. 8. What was an infamous trolling game that caused chaos? A. Cole's Admin House, the birthplace of Kill All and Jump 999999. B. Survive Elmo, because nothing is scarier than a giant, unstoppable puppet. C. Roblox High School, where people roleplayed as teachers but never actually taught. D. Be crushed by a speeding wall, a game that is exactly what it sounds like. 9. What was a huge RPG game back in the day? A. Adventure Quest RPG, where you start your adventure and probably never finish. B. Swordburst Online, aka I can't afford SAO on console, so this will do. C. Lumion Legacy, Pokemon but legally different. D. Clone Tycoon, a game where your clones are smarter than actual teammates in shooter games. What classic game was all about surviving waves of enemies? A. Zombie Rush, the game where teamwork meant running in opposite directions. B. Tower Battles, aka hope you pick the right tower or it's game over. C. Zombie Attack, like Zombie Rush, but with more suffering. D. Flood Escape, water physics said no to your survival instincts. Alright, time for the answers. If you didn't pause to think, you played yourself. Answers. 1. The answer was C. Lumber Tycoon, because who doesn't love carrying logs for miles? The answer was A. Dead Silence. Jump scares, ruining trust issues since 2007. The answer was C. Welcome to the town of Robloxia, the OG roleplay game before things got weird. 4. The answer was A. Sword fights on the heights, 50% skill, 50% falling off the map. 5. The answer was B. Mega fun obby. The only thing mega fun was rage quitting. 6. The answer was D. Base Wars, the game where half the players didn't know how to aim. 7. The answer was A. Natural disaster survival, tornado plus tsunami, RIP. 8. The answer was A. Cole's admin house, where chaos was the gameplay. 9. The answer was B. Sword burst online, 100 hours of grinding for a sword that looks cool. The answer was C. Zombie attack? Surviving? Not in this economy. How'd you do? Drop your score in the comments, but if it's 0-10, lie. Scoring system. Blox Grandmaster. You probably still remember the smell of 2012 Roblox. Respect. 8-9. Blox Pro. So close to OG perfection, just like your incomplete tycoons. 5-7. On the path to Blox greatness. Just don't fall into an obby void. 2-4. Casual gamer. You probably think Brookhaven is vintage? Noob status activated. Your account was probably made last week. Think you're ready for the next quiz? Are you a Chad like Guest 66 or scared like a Bloxburg baby? Subscribe and find out.